South Dakota there in Sturgis. That's where we find our very own meteorologist Mike Seidel. And Mike, now day 2 of having to deal with the snow adding up and, of course, the wind driving as well.
Yes, indeed. Let's bring in the mayor here of Sturgis, Mark Carstensen. And Mark, your guys are on duty this morning. Look at this. What an operation. I haven't seen a snowblower like that since lake effect on the New York State Thruway.
You know, it does wonders of getting the snow out of here instead of just pushing it around. So it helps clean up, makes things quicker, and makes our town better for sure.
Yeah, so they just fill up the trucks and you dump that in a particular location.
Yep, in an empty parking lot. Keep on moving. Multiple trucks coming to pick it up.
I was talking earlier about Boston, their winter with 110 inches, and they put it in this big lot, and the last little bit of dirty snow melted in early July. Do you have any memory of how long it takes for all the snow to melt?
You know, it does take a while, but never do I remember it being that long. We have extremes here in Sturgis, from temperatures and weather like today to all the way to the hot of the summer. So it's never been that long, but we certainly go through the extremes.
So they'll do this on all the main streets, and then do they do the residential streets or just plow them?
They just plow most of the residential streets, and it really depends on the snow and the drifts. With what we have for drifts, we might have to do the snow blowers to get it out of there.
Okay, let's talk about I-90 because we have a little bit of good news.
The small portions open, I understand, from Box Elder to Rapid. I heard on the news this morning that is clear from that section. So.
We saw that in the DOT map. So yeah. Box Elder is basically Ellsworth Air Force Base. That's off to the east of Rapid City, to Rapid City.
Correct.
So that's, what, 20 miles maybe?
No, not even that.
Less than 20 miles. So effectively, we're still pretty much a no-go for big rigs from Wyoming to Chamberlain.
Correct.
And the weather today is not going to help us.
It isn't. The wind's still blowing and the snow's still moving, so...
Okay, Mark, thanks for joining us. Mayor Mark Carstensen from Sturgis, thanks for getting up nice and early because of the 2-hour time difference. It's only a little after 5 a.m. here, Alex. So you can see snow being picked up, but another tornado warning. Alex, another busy day in the Deep South.
Hey, no doubt about it, Mike. We got the snowy side. Let's head to the snowy side of things. We find meteorologist Mike Seidel in Sturgis, South Dakota. And Mike, yeah, much colder where you are. Looking at teens and the snow continuing.
And that's going to be the story today. Temperatures stay in the teens. We're right now around 15 or 16. Wind chills now are right around 0, so it's not quite as cold as it was yesterday. We're still getting wind gusts 30 to 35 miles an hour, still snowing right now. Not particularly hard. There'll be waves of snow today, tonight, into tomorrow. The blizzard warning goes until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning, so more snow to come, more cleanup. You can see this is what's going on downtown. We've been following these gentlemen. This is the Public Works Department from Sturgis. And what they're doing is they've got the giant snow blower that you usually see on major interstates where they blow the snow way off the highway. I've seen these quite a bit up there around Buffalo and Syracuse where they get the feet of snow like we had a few weeks ago. And what they do, they're blowing the snow in the trucks, and then the trucks haul it to a point just a few blocks away, and they dump it there, and then it eventually melts come springtime. So they're going down the streets. So this is what you basically call snow removal. That truck is full. He's going to go down and dump, and here comes the next one with a snow blower. We've got another one down the street, so they're making quick work of this, but again, it adds up fast. When it's this cold, it's powder, and we're looking for at least another 6 inches here. Dr. Postel up in Deadwood and Lead in the Black Hills. They had 2 feet as of last night. I'm sure they're up over 30 inches. We're waiting for those early reports from up there to get the latest snowfall totals, but they've been snowing all night too. The blizzard continues, although as far as I know, we've only had one station verify with the blizzard conditions, and that was Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Rapid City and those places had plenty of wind, but they didn't have the visibility down low enough.
Right, and now, Mike, it looks like the blizzard or the winter storm is going to transition from the plains to parts of the upper Midwest. Let me show you our snowfall accumulation map.
Ooh, well, an even colder spot. That is there in South Dakota. That's where we find our very own meteorologist, Mike Seidel, there in Sturgis. And Mike, a spot where, you know, hopefully I'm not seeing too much in the way of traffic outside of the folks that are trying to clear the roads.
Everybody's staying put today. Schools are closed. Most businesses have thrown in the towel. And the wind and snow will continue into Thursday, although we're not going to get as much as we've seen so far. We've had over a foot here in Sturgis and likely over 2 feet or 30 inches up in the Black Hills. Still waiting for the weather observers, the co-ops report in. I can report that they're doing a heck of a job downtown here. They've got the giant snowblower. We showed you that live last hit. And now they're down the street just kind of plowing and the snowblower just went by. What they're doing is they're picking up the snow, throwing it into these big trucks, and they take it off-site just a few blocks away and dump it in this big parking lot. So what they're doing is doing snow removal. A lot of places don't do that. They just push it to the side. They're not going to do that on the city streets or residential streets, so you're still going to have to dig out that snow that's been plowed in front of your driveway. But it's very powdery. It's just like, powdered sugar. It's very light, easy to shovel, blowing around. That's the other issue. Because of the wind still gusting over 40 miles an hour, even some 50-mile-an-hour gusts out of the open plains, Interstate 90 is still shut down from here all the way to Chamberlain. So, again, there's a lot of folks that want to get east and west. We talked to a young lady last night trying to get back to North Carolina for the Christmas holiday. She's going early. But you have all these big rigs that are just sitting in Chamberlain and over there in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the other side of the Wyoming state line, and they can't really go anywhere. We did meet a couple yesterday that drove the back roads from Chamberlain to here. That's over 200 miles. And it took them all day, if you can imagine, driving the back roads with the blowing and drifting snow. The wind is just piercing out here. Our wind chills, it's zero. I've been in worse, and it will get worse maybe next week because highs by next Thursday won't get above zero, but still a stinging wind chill. Highs today will stay in the teens. The average high is in the upper 30s, so still a very cold day. Snow in and out. You can see some bands on the radar as they rotate in, Alex. So we're not out of this. The blizzard warning right now still up until 5 a.m. Tomorrow morning for the plains. Up in the Black Hills, we've got a winter storm warning or a winter weather advisory. What they do is they push it into the middle, and then the snowblower comes in and just sucks it up from the middle of the road and throws it in the truck. There you go, Alex. It's just that easy. We need a few of these in Atlanta.
Oh my God, I can't imagine us even thinking about owning anything like that. We use it like once every 40 years or something.
But when you need it, you need it.
Yeah, they know how to do it up there. Thanks, Mike. We will certainly check back with you there. Meanwhile, we go from the wintry side. Well, how about we head northbound and get away from the severe weather and talk about the wintry side of things, because it's severe here as well. We've been talking about the wind whipping around, the snow flying as well, and adding up. And that's where we find our very own meteorologist, Mike Seidel. And Mike, it is not an easy time having to deal with the conditions right now.
Certainly, the roads are in poor shape. You've got to bundle up, and this is what they've been doing all morning. Big trucks coming up and down the street here in downtown Sturgis, and with the giant snowblower picking up the snow. And this truck is full, so it's going to go around the corner. They're dumping it over there by the hill, and the snowblower goes down the road. They've been plowing or pushing the snow to the middle of the road, and then they put it in the truck. So they're doing what they call snow removal. A lot of places don't do that unless there's just a ton of snow, and they just wait for it to melt. But there's not going to be any melting this time anytime soon. Very little, because temperatures are going to stay below freezing. And by next week, before Christmas, we'll have at least 1 or 2 days here in Sturgis where highs do not even get above zero. Right now, the wind chill is right about zero here. Our temperature holding in the mid-teens. Snowing, and it will continue to do that. But on the radar, you can see there's still some pretty hefty bands rotating around the big vortex, the big monster storm that's not moving very fast. So there's bands out to the west and south, east and southeast are going to come back in here. So once again, Dr. Postel, we're not out of the woods yet. The blizzard warning continues until 5 in the morning. And again, Interstate 90 is still closed from Chamberlain, South Dakota, all the way to the Wyoming line. So a lot of big rig truckers are stuck on either side. Travelers getting an early start on Christmas travel. The only way to get around is to go on back roads, which takes forever, and the roads are not great. And out in the open areas, we're still getting the blowing and drifting. And that's going to be the story for today, tonight, and tomorrow. And still windy on Friday as the snow backs off. We'll come right back and talk about the latest tornado warnings. A dangerous warning continues in Mississippi and Louisiana.
Let's get to a spot where the snow has been flying with the wind and the cold as well. That's our very own meteorologist, Mike Seidel, in Sturgis, South Dakota. How's it shaping up for us at this hour, Mike?
No change here, except the temperature has warmed up. How about 17? Wind chills in the single numbers. It's going to be another very cold day considering the average highs in the upper 30s. And once again, we talk with the Public Works Director, Mr. Rick Bush, who joins us. And I can tell you're a local because you don't have a hat on.
Right.
But then again, I got to love the ride. Look at how this guy gets over here for the interview. Check this out. A John Deere grader.
Yep, I didn't want to get stuck on my way over. When we get storm events like this, it's all hands that's available. We're out in a piece of equipment doing something, moving the snow around.
Well, I know for a fact that you're double parked.
You're right.
Okay, let's talk about what you have been doing, your men and women, this morning, because we were out here before sunrise and they were already clearing up Main Street.
Right, so we started early this morning, our general snow operations. We hit all of the emergency routes, the downtown areas, school routes, things of that nature. You know, as you can see, you saw this morning, we had our snow blower down here. When we get down into these tight areas where there's nowhere to pile the snow on the side of the roads, we actually blow it and haul it off. So.
And what about through the afternoon and tonight? What are you concerned with? Because we do have more snow in the forecast.
Right, probably the additional snow accumulations. The wind's going to continue to blow. The temperatures are going to stay cold, so we're not. It can be a good thing. The snow is light and fluffy. It's easier to move around, but the snow blows it around too. So it's going to be an ongoing battle to try and stay ahead of that, keeping up with the drifts and keeping people safe.
And what about adding some kind of melting?
We're probably not until we get a forecast that's conducive to use some liquids, some de-icing.
How warm does it have to be?
You know, we can go down. It's not air temperature, it's the ground temperature, the road temperature. You know, I'd like to see it above freezing before we start to apply that, because it can actually cause some bigger issues of refreezing,
right.
Making things slick. When it gets this cold, the road's actually dry underneath, as you can see where we have peeled it up. It's a little bit drier underneath. So we'll continue to make that, work on it. A lot of those de-icing agents need traffic on them to actually make them work.
Exactly.
And again, we got a no travel advisory in effect. The interstate's closed down, so we just don't have a lot of vehicular traffic going, which is a good thing too.
Well, we are forecasting it up to 30 by the weekend, and sun on Friday will help. Despite the low sun angle, that'll help out with some of the melting of what's left on the surface. But then you refreeze at night, and then next week, daytime highs may not even get to zero. So it's a long stretch ahead of cold weather.
As long as we can get some of that radiant from the sun, it does amazing. It's wonderful. We don't necessarily need it to get the air temperature up above freezing if we can just get that radiant sun rays coming down. So.
Okay, Rick Bush, who's running the Public Works Department here in Sturgis. You've got, what, 18 gentlemen?
18 guys out on the crew today, yep.
And plenty of trucks. You're all ready to go. So we'll let you get back in your... Look at that. That's pretty cool. How fast will that go?
Never ran it fast.
Never had it fast?
And then slow wins the race.
Yeah, in the summer, use it for grading.
Right, for gravel maintenance, absolutely.
Well, that's quite the piece of equipment.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for joining us once again. Yeah, thank you. So there you go. They're going to keep at it because more snow's in the forecast, Alex. Not consistent snow, but again, bands wrapping in. The blizzard warning is up here until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning on another bitterly cold day, even by South Dakota standards. Average high today in Rapid City, just down the interstate, is 37. Rapid City will probably get up to 20. Alex, don't you wish you were out here, layered up? Standing on the street corner?
Well, I mean, you do it so well that we just say, Mike, you take it away. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, just an incredible job, of course, the crews do there to try to get the streets clear. Now we head northbound, and it's kind of the high end of the scale when it comes to the wintry side, as we've been dealing with the wind and the snow there. That's where we find our very own meteorologist, Mike Seidel, there in Sturgis, South Dakota. Mike, trying to stay as warm as you can up there. I mean, teens, that is not easy to deal with there, but it doesn't look like the snow, at least where you are, is coming down that heavily. Kind of a bit of a lull in the action.
Yeah, it's lightened up considerably. We've had some sunshine bleeding through the overcast, but temperatures are still in the upper teens. You know, this snowstorm, this blizzard has caused all kinds of problems. Tractor trailers, big rigs are stuck either at the Wyoming side or on the eastern side, 265 miles away to the east in Chamberlain, because I-90 is shut down. And we found a couple that's at our hotel, and they're riding it out. This is Wyatt Sunderland and also Taylor Diamond from Kemmerer, Wyoming. And you got to Chamberlain yesterday right after the interstate shut down, and you made the decision to carry on and head west.
Well, our only thought behind it was when we traveled was we want to get close to at least the border because hopefully they'll reopen quicker than they would in the middle of the state. So we kind of just said, well, see how far we can get. And by the time we got about Union Junction, which is halfway to here, it started to pick up really bad on us. And we had to figure out how bad we wanted it.
So you got off at Chamberlain and you took the back roads. And how were they?
Ice covered, snow blowing. Visibility was poor most of the way. I mean, we couldn't see over our hood half the time.
And what about getting stuck? Did you get stuck at all?
We got stuck when we stopped at a gas station, but most of gas stations and stores anywhere on the back roads are all closed. It wasn't very fun.
I can imagine. Was there any tractor-trailer traffic getting around the block on 90 on the 2-lane roads?
There was a lot, actually. I mean, I think we counted 20 or 30. And there were a lot of them that were just hauling. I mean, they didn't want to stop.
They don't want to get stuck, huh?
They don't want to get stuck, but at the same time, they got to remember there was a lot of black ice out there.
So you guys are just going to hang out another day and wait for 90 to open? That's
at least the plan. If they open sooner, that'd be great. But I think we're stuck here until at least Friday.
Okay, Wyatt and Taylor, thanks for joining us. Good luck going to get warm. Yes, many stories out here. You shut down a major interstate, and you have very few options, especially when the wind continues to blow. The blizzard warning until 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. We'll come back, update you on the dangerous tornado braking situation along the Gulf Coast, especially in Louisiana, Mississippi. That's next here on the Weather Channel.